So nama panjangnya Myriam Larasati. Sorry apa udah lama nggak kaku kalau ngomong bahasa Indonesia, jadi dicampur sedikit sama English. Uh, I I enrolled in 2013, and then like I graduated 2017. Like my thesis defense was 2017, but I got, I think my graduation ceremony was 2018 because I was just busy traveling afterwards.
Wah,
Yeah.
oke. Em, Berdasarkan informasi yang udah aku baca nih sebelumnya kan, kakak tuh pernah masuk ke pendidikan bahasa Inggris Unikat Majaya tahun tadi 2011. Kakak pernah belajar untuk mendapatkan Certification Creative Writing and Business English di Sydney. Boleh nggak sih Kak diceritain apa itu Certification Creative Writing and Business English? Mungkin bisa
Uh,
diceritain.
uh, aku enrollnya 2013, like 2013. Jadi ya bukan 2011, just correcting.
Oh
Yeah,
iya.
yeah. So basically like sebelum masuk ke Atmajaya. So like in 2011, like before I enrolled in my university classes, I was traveling a lot and then mostly like visiting family. And then I just like, oh, I don't want to just like travel and then like waste money or like partying and like what young people would do. And then just decided on like taking classes and yeah, so I found like after work classes yang di Sydney tuh ada kayak community college, and it was really cheap, like around $100 for like 2 months, and I thought like why not? So I decided to enroll in that.
Oke. So, how's the process, Kak? Kayak mendapatkan informasi tersebut tuh gimana sih cara kakak untuk mendapatkan change tersebut itu? Mungkin kakak bisa
Mm.
share dikit gitu, seperti apa prosesnya dulu.
Um, yeah, just basically I googled around simple sih kayak it's just cuman dari internet aja, and then because my family used to live in Sydney for quite a bit, and then yeah, just happened to know friends, and then they gave us information, and yeah, it was as simple as that.
Oke, I see, I see. So, lalu setelah kakak ngedapetin certification creative writing and business English, apakah kakak langsung kuliah di pendidikan bahasa Inggris atau bekerja dulu? Kalau mungkin kakak bekerja dulu, mungkin boleh dikasih tahu bekerja di bidang apa, Kak? Boleh diceritain gitu.
Oh no, actually, like I had like a rebellious 20, like in my 20s I was very rebellious. So
Hmm.
okay, I just decided to like, oh, I'm just gonna travel and then like, you know, just figure out myself first and then just like, oh, do this and that. And I didn't quite decide having like that decision of I wanna like go to university, and then it was more like, you know, I should do this because like my parents would be happy if I do this. And then I just thought like, like yeah, being learning to be a teacher, it's always a good thing. Yeah, jadinya masuk ke jurusan PBI like I think 2 years after I got the certification. But yeah, it's just I just wanted to kind of make sure that I made the right decision in life. Just this is what I want to commit to for the next couple of years.
Okay. So, when you decide to kuliah di pendidikan bahasa Inggris Atmajaya.
Yeah, that was like 2013. Jadi like I just made a decision, like this looks good, and then they got really good track record, so why not? And yeah, and I was really interested in teaching as well because at that time, when I was like traveling around, like I like to volunteer. I volunteered a lot in like um, going to villages like in Cambodia or like Vietnam just to kind of teach the villagers there mostly like English or just like math, like basic math, and I just thought like, oh, I should have the know-how of like how to become, like a teacher just to kind of like equip myself when I do these trips. So yeah.
Oke, oke. Jadi kayak sebanyak cerita itu kan kenapa kakak itu benar-benar milih PBI Unikat Majaya itu kak?
Iya, just soalnya it seems apa it has good reputation for sure. So that yeah, I heard good things about it. So yeah, just it was an easy decision because that was one of like the top universities that got the program, and it was just like half an hour away from home at that time. So yeah, it was an easy decision really.
Oke oke. Ini kayak nggak cukup waktu yang sulit gitu ya kak?
No, no.
Kalau kita nostalgia sebentar nih kak, dulu kan sewaktu masa kuliah di PBI Unikat Majaya kan kakak kuliah di sana tuh udah lumayan lama ya. Boleh nggak? Apa sih? Aku pengen nanya apa yang membuat kakak kayak terkesan gitu? Ya mungkin sampai sekarang masih keinget banget di kuliahan PBI gitu.
Apa ya, just I had good friends kayak temen dia baik. Terus, yeah, I had like because when I enrolled in the program, I was a little bit older than like most of the students in my batch. And then I was kind of like I got pretty close with the lecturers as in like, in a appropriate way, of course. So it was kind of nice to kind of, see both world and just um able to kind of interact with the lecturers in a way that like it was just, understanding the world um, and then at the same time, able to connect with like my peers who are younger, but we're like in the same batch. And I think, yeah, that was an interesting experience.
Jadi teman-teman dan dosen di sana tuh emang baik-baik banget ya kak di PBI ya.
Yeah, so orangnya baik, terus karena umurnya, I mean, like dosennya, they're closer to my age, and then it was just easier for me to kind of have a conversation as a person, not just like as a, like a lecturer and student, but then like we could kind of discuss. Jadi enak gitu bisa ngobrol sama dosennya pun juga, ya bisa lebih lancar juga gitu.
Oke. Lalu apa yang kakak dapatkan selama berkuliah di PBI Unikat Majaya yang masih kakak teringat sampai sekarang?
Um, I think it's like I really, yeah, it sounds really weird, but I find like structure clause to be very helpful, especially when I have to write like documentation for work, because you kind of focus on like how to structure a sentence correctly, and then like all these like Oxford comma, like don't forget that, and then like that. A client of mine actually like appreciated me for like remembering to use Oxford comma, like things like that. Okay, pelajaran structure was, I think that's been, yeah, I really think it's helpful, although it's not probably a lot of people would have different opinion on it. Yeah.
Ya benar sih kak. Terus apakah kakak dulu punya pekerjaan ya di selama berkuliah gitu?
Ada sih. So, kan I've been working since 2013. Jadi I've been working remotely. Jadi remote working itu online working. Bisa dari mana aja. And then basically when I was in uni, I just tried to find clients, and then um, yeah, and then I try to work 20 hours a day, and oh, sorry, 20 hours a week. And then yeah, jadi kliennya banyak dari luar negeri karena platform yang buat clientsnya itu base-nya di US. So then like most of the clients and the market would be like foreigners from either the US, and like most of mine currently, and like my main job is Australian. So yeah, jadi banyak ngambil part-time work waktu itu as like a freelancer.
Hmm, karena banyak banget gitu ya jadwalnya, Kak. Apakah nggak sulit Kak untuk ngatur jadwalnya?
Um,
Kakak sambil kuliah ya.
so basically, kalau if you're like a freelancer, depending on the work, like you can have very flexible working hours. Jadi kadang-kadang tuh mereka yang penting just make sure that you can accomplish, like finish everything, like the goals. And it doesn't matter like how many hours you're spending. Yang penting you just deliver the result. Dan ya itu tergantung kerjanya apa waktu itu. I was like an assistant, and then also I tried to kind of like branch out to like doing project management, and just like different roles, and just like trying to like explore what other options I could find like while working online. Um, Jadinya like I chose the ones yang bisa flexible, yang they're okay with my uni schedules because I had to like go to school and then yeah. Most of the clients are actually like they're very supportive. They're like, yeah, go to school first, and then you can finish like all of your like tasks after school. And then kalau misalnya clients in the US, like it's like flip hours. So then like when I go home, I would just work on my stuff because karena jam kerjanya kan like it's after like usually 7 p.m. Jadi berapa jam, 3 hours a day just to like work on like those American clients.
Jadi kakak masih bisa manage waktu gitu ya untuk
Yeah.
kuliah dan kerjanya gitu ya. Keren banget
Yeah.
sih. Oke, baik. Kita balik lagi ngobrolin kan kesibukan kakak ya. Dengar-dengar nih, kakak Myriam tuh bekerja sebagai APAC Government Relation and Implementation Associate. Nggak betul, Kak?
Yeah, so APAC Government Relations itu Asia Pacific mostly. Jadi what I do in my role in the APAC Government Relations, I with my team, three of us would approach different governments, well, institutions, and then like we offer our training LMS platform. Jadi kan like my company itu LMS, so Learning Management System, e-learning. Basically, like we're like the Netflix of online learning, basically that. And what we do is like we aggregate content. Jadi kayak istilahnya kayak nonton Netflix kan banyak contentnya ya. And but Netflix doesn't really like create the content. It's they just combine them together from like different providers, and then that's what we do as like an LMS. Jadi kita um, ibaratnya at Netflix, but isinya online classes. And then what we do is like we approach government to kind of like, hey, it's COVID time. Would you want to, like help your staff members to still have personal growth and professional growth, even though you're all on lockdown? So the lakuin tuh we reach out to different governments. I've reached out to like Malaysian ones, and then Singaporean ones, and then like most of our clients are like Australian ones, and they utilize our LMS or platform for this soft training, and yeah, jadi banyak like relation, like communication with a lot of government institutions.
Oh gitu ya, Kak. Kalau boleh tahu, job desk-nya kakak tuh apa sih di sana?
So like I just actually got like a sort of like a different, not different role, just an upgraded role. So right now what I do is like I help client getting onboarded into our system. And then what I do is understand what sort of like system they use. Misalnya kayak dia udah punya some sort of like kayak apa program di untuk HR-nya, untuk online trainingnya, and then how can that be integrated into our system? Soalnya nanti kan kita harus kirim data, like we have to send the data across, and then how can we make that integration work well? And I'm the person who's like, okay, like I'll help you with the integration. What system do you have? And then like, what sort of things that the requirement that you need to have in order for this implementation to work correctly. And then like terus banyak tentang client training. Jadi I train them to use the platform, as in like that's when like the whole like, oh, I learned to be a teacher, now I know how to teach you guys. So then like it's like communicating like, oh, this is how you use the platform. And then like most of the time when I'm a complete believer that like people can do their task or like they can learn something new, but it fails a lot because of unclear instruction. And then I, like I learned a lot from like my years learning to become a teacher, to just like create better instructions and then making sure that like everyone is across with what I'm telling them to do. So yeah, like training the clients and then making documentation on what has been happening with one particular client, and then I had to kind of like do a handover to customer support once they're fully onboarded. Yeah, it's just a lot more technical than my previous role, but this is something that I find quite challenging, and I do like the new challenges that I got. Yeah.
So, selain bekerja sebagai seorang profesional di APC Government Relation and Implementation Associate, kan kakak juga pernah menjadi freelancer sebagai virtual assistant and remote team manager. Boleh dijelasin nggak kak, pekerjaan tersebut tuh apa sih kak?
So itu sih like it's kind of like a work that I just took because I just want like pocket money because I'm still in uni. Jadi kayak pengen uang jajan, and then I just didn't, like I just didn't want to ask and to my parents, and at that time I sort of wanting to move out. Just kayak pengen nabung buat, at that time I mau nabung buat pindah, kayak move out like on my own gitu, pengen tinggal sendiri. And then I was determined to like, okay, I had to find a way. And then ketemu situs online Upwork, dulunya namanya Odesk, and then di situ tuh banyak orang, it's like a marketplace di mana orang-orang tuh bisa cari like workers, like someone to help them with task. And then like I just applied like, okay, well, I don't know what I'm doing, but then I'll just apply this. And then like 1 month after I applied, tiba-tiba kayak dapat offer kayak, oh, I'm an entrepreneur in New York. I need someone to help me with like, research, data entry, and then like, oh, okay, it looks really interesting. Like, and then yeah, yaudah, like it's a stepping stone to like something bigger. Jadi itu it's the kind of work kayak assistant aja, but then like you do it online. You most of the time, because it's like it's an international platform, so like most of your clients would be like international clients as well. Jadinya I help them like with like their business needs, like, oh, can you research like the best place to buy this product so I can resell them, like, yeah, things like that. Atau can you do like data entry for this, or like can you do like paperwork for this, or like, yeah, biasanya those people itu pengusaha yang they don't have enough time, and then they just like, okay, I need someone to help me with all these tasks. Itu sih like virtual assistant, and sometimes they would have a team, remote worker juga. So like remote working, as I was mentioning before, it's like when you work remotely dari rumah, or you can like work from a beach or whatever like country, and I've been doing that for like a long time. And I don't need to be in the US just because my client is from the US, which is the beauty of like remote working. And then most of them would have like a team of people from different countries, and then they're like, I need someone to help manage these people. And then so I just wanted to kind of like step up my game and like, okay, let's just, I'll try to become a team manager for all these remote workers. So that's what I do. I like the virtual assistant part is like you kayak asisten biasa, but you do it online. And then like remote team manager is more like, being a manager, tapi like your colleagues or like team member, yeah, all of them are in different countries, or like in places like I've never met like most of them probably, yeah.
Cukup impresif ya. So, berarti kalau bisa dibilang nih kakak emang seneng banget ya bekerja di lingkungannya multikultural dan juga perusahaan internasional ya. Uh, yang buat kakak bener-bener tertarik gitu untuk bekerja di lingkungan kayak gini, yang buat bener-bener kayak bekerja keras banget gitu. Apa sih kak? Boleh di-share?
Um, I just like I guess I'm interested in you see like the international or more like cross-cultural communication. That's always been a passion, but then like the reason why I want to like strive to be better, it's probably just because like well, eventually I'd like to be able to focus a lot more in like cross-cultural communication as like my main work, I guess like field that I would like to do. Um, but yeah, I think it's because I'm interested in it.
Oke, oke. Menjadi freelancer dan juga berbaur di lingkungan multikultural pada perusahaan internasional itu kan tentunya nggak mudah ya kak ya. Apa aja
Mhm.
sih tantangan yang kakak hadapin gitu selama di sana, sama waktu itu?
Um, I guess sometimes like this is I don't know, like it might be like a something that's like a personal observation. Jadi kayak, I don't know this is a valid statement, but sometimes I feel that like because coming from like Indonesia, like oh, I'm coming from a third world country, like at times there would be people who wouldn't be able to see the value of what you can bring on the table just based on like, oh, you're from like this country, and that happens a lot. And I've experienced, I don't know what you call that. I wouldn't label that as racism, but there's some discrimination because of where you're from. That's always really tough. And then I guess like the technicalities kalau misalnya lagi kerja gitu and then like you work with people from different countries, just expect that there would be like miscommunication. Like, for example, kalau orang Indo, when we speak, the best a good communicator in Indonesia is usually those who can like be very subtle. So not like very, like you don't really tell them what you mean. That's what we call like good communicator in Indonesia because we try to be nice and subtle. But then if you bring that to Australia and be subtle, they might not get you. They might think like, I don't think I understand what you mean, or like it's just gonna be miscommunication altogether. So then for them, it's more like just be direct, and that's when like that's where good communication is going to start, like compared to like in Indonesia. So then like expect like things like that to happen and then just some just different like cultural nuances and just yeah, as long as everyone's open and they're willing to learn and having like that dialogue on like um how can we work together as a team and just like addressing miscommunication like early on of having like a time with ngobrolin kayak misalnya they don't understand something. Yeah, it's always really useful.
Jadi ada masa-masa sulit juga ya ternyata ya kak ya selama di sana itu ya. Kalau kita perhatiin juga nih kak, emang pekerjaan kayak gitu emang nggak mudah ya, apalagi lingkupnya mengenai perusahaan internasional gitu ya. Bagaimana sih kakak untuk menekuni di bidang pekerjaan ini gitu? Gimana kakak tuh bisa enjoy sama pekerjaan kakak?
Uh, enjoy, yeah. That's just it's a matter of your mindset, I guess. Just always like I think um I at the moment I would say I try to enjoy my work by just like having a good mindset in the morning and just like, having like the will to learn. Terus yang it's always good also to have kayak positive team that you can work with. Like it's yeah, like if you can surround yourself with good team members or like good colleagues, that's always like a big plus. I've had bad colleagues, bad team members, very toxic employer, and it just makes things just difficult. But yeah, okay, it's just easier when you can, like um when you can enjoy yourself by having like good people around you. And then yeah, I think like for me it's just like it starts with like how you feel about the work, just how you start your day, and then like the people that you're surrounding yourself with.
Berarti emang selain harus enjoy tuh emang harus suka banget ya sama apa yang kita sedang tekuni gitu ya. Itu tipsnya ya kayak mungkin yang mungkin dari kakak. So, kakak ini kan sebagai alumnus PBI Unikat Majaya kan. Setahu aku kuliah di PBI itu lulusannya kan emang jadi guru ya. Dari pekerjaan kakak saat ini kan artinya bisa dibilang ternyata habis lulus itu bisa dalam bidang apapun, nggak harus jadi guru gitu. Apakah ilmu yang kakak dapat selama berkuliah di PBI Unikat Majaya ini membantu kakak dalam menggeluti pekerjaan kakak yang sedang kakak prosesi saat ini gitu?
Yeah, I would say so. Okay. It's the fact that like, you know, I learned to give better instruction. I would say I'm still pretty bad about giving instructions, but when you're a teacher, I would say um, one thing is, yeah, like you know, like transfer knowledge and then like making sure that like your students understand what you're teaching them and like, you know, like bringing them from like point A where they don't know anything to point B where they're like, oh, I can do this. That's great. You know, like when you can like, you know, making sure that like the knowledge transfer is done. But I feel that like I learned so much about like how I can inspire my students or like how I can inspire others to learn or like to be interested. Maybe they don't want to learn, but just be interested in like what I'm talking about. And then like how to be patient and then like having, you know, clear instruction or like how can I design anything that requires for me to teach them and just design like instruction or design courses or even design like whatever I want to teach people into something that's easier for people to learn and understand. That's something that I really learn because like on a daily basis, like kayak misalnya like we want to teach our friends to saya kayak oh cara apa ya misalnya cara buka situs atau kayak cara pakai smartphone and then like you know those things are like an everyday thing like it's not just like how I teach math or like how I teach like some like new languages but it's all it's in everyday life that you have to like communicate with people and then teach them about like how to do something and then how can you like break down the instructions and then how can you make them to understand what you're trying to say and then to kind of like reach the point of understanding and you know like making sure that like everything's clear and they're doing the right steps to hopefully the right steps to reach like the end goal. Yeah, it's valuable.
Berarti banyak banget yang bisa diambil juga ya dari berkuliah di PBI Unikat Majaya ini ya kak, dan bisa kakak bawa untuk sampai di bidang pekerjaan juga. Oke, tentunya ilmu-ilmu yang kakak tekuni selama berkuliah di PBI itu memang sangat berguna ya kak. Masih ingat nggak mata kuliah apa sih yang kakak senengin waktu kuliah di dulu yang di PBI gitu kak?
um oh yeah. It's been a while but I do like they used to have ini sih I don't know because mungkin sekarang nggak ada kali ya apa cross culture communication something like about multiculturalism so it's like cross culture communication. I like that one. Itu mata kuliahnya it was really interesting. And then what was also interesting was I I wouldn't say this is my favorite, but this is very useful, I would say so. Structure. It's just like when you can write well, it makes a difference. When you can like write well, but yeah, especially for my work, like it's important to be able to write correctly, write well, when conveying your message, and then make like an ambiguous sentence. That's I never realized that's like, you know, for a lot of people, they just put like commas anywhere and then like just combine like three sentences into one and it's just like confusing and like you know I realized how like that's a valuable lesson I learned from structure classes and yeah it's very useful.
Okay. How gitu kakak kuliah di PBI Atmajaya gitu, pasti ada kan value yang kakak dapetin sama kakak kuliah dan bisa kakak bawa membentuk kakak sampai saat ini gitu, nilai plusnya gitu.
Yeah, soalnya kan when I joined when I enrolled in batch 2013, jadi I was a little bit older like than most of my friends. Yeah, like my friends there mostly like 18, and at that time I was like in my early 20s. So I was like 22 or 23. Yeah, 22. And then like I just felt that like kids, although like they were younger than me, I just thought like, oh, they're like they're probably like younger, like in terms of like you probably couldn't relate and so on and so on. But then I learned a lot from them, and it's just a matter of like um whether you want to open up yourself to learn things or not. And it's about like if you just decided that like I'm never gonna learn from them, you're never gonna learn from anyone, even though they're like, like better than you. But if you just like in your mind you think like, yeah, I could always learn something from anyone and just like humble yourself down, you will learn a lot. So I learned to kind of always open my mind and just like, yeah, just always want to learn from anyone, regardless of like them being younger or like, like maybe like less experience in life, but you'll always find things or like just anything that you absorb and learn from other people.
Jadi banyak banget pelajaran yang bisa diambil ya kak, banyak juga value-value yang bisa kakak dapetin untuk
Yeah.
berpikiran yang luas gitu, ilmu-ilmu juga bisa kakak dapetin sampai sekarang ini ya kak. Keren banget
Yeah.
sih kak. Menurut pandangan kakak nih, bagaimana sih profil lulusan PBI dari tahun ke tahun?
Um, I don't really know the recent ones, tapi yang the ones dari angkatan 2014, like the younger ones. I think I've only interacted sama yang 2014, 15, and yeah, they seem to be quite talented as well. So they're good. I've met very smart people, very talented people within like the ones that I've interacted with. Um, yeah, jadinya ini sih, I think it's great. I would say you wouldn't find any difficulties finding jobs or, kalau misalnya just because you're just, learning to be a teacher, it doesn't mean that it limits your capability or like opportunity. There will always be opportunities out there if you're looking for things. So yeah, I think, yeah, good quality. Thumbs up.
Oke, keren banget ya kak. Dari obrolan kita ini ya selama kurang lebih 40 menit ini, aku ngelihat kalau kakak ini emang passionnya itu, kemampuannya itu untuk berbaur di lingkungan multikultural dan bisa juga bekerja sama dan juga berkomunikasi yang baik dengan perusahaan-perusahaan internasional. Hebat banget sih kak, yang aku bisa lihat sih dari kakak ini, benar-benar bisa ngemotivasiin aku banget. Ada nggak sih pesan-pesan untuk mahasiswa PBI Atmajaya nih yang akan memasuki dunia kerja dan mungkin akan melanjutkan pendidikan ke luar negeri?
Um, Always try to network. I would say networking is always a good place to start. Just while you're young, it's so much easier for you to find people to network with. And then if you can find like opportunities to just like, like non-school related, non-work related, but just to kind of like improve yourself as a person, like do volunteering or like just if you could have the means to travel, or of course safely, especially during like COVID pandemic time, just do it if you could, because like it really it when you come back, you're a different person, and like I completely believe in like the and I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with this, but there's like there's this sort of like a concept called the hero's journey, when like one person embarks on a journey and then comes back, they're not the same person. And I completely believe that those kind of like journey that they could take in their life, regardless it's travel related or like just making themselves, outside of the comfort zone to just try new things or just to kind of improve themselves, they will never come back as the same person. And yeah, I think like, if they can spare time to focus on their self and not just, like it's good that they care about their work or like their school, but then if they can, just pause and work on themselves, like personal growth in that sort of sense, that'd be really great. That changes me as a person. So yeah.
Oke, keren banget, keren banget. Saran untuk, mungkin ada saran nggak sih dari kakak untuk anak SMA atau calon mahasiswa saat ini yang mungkin masih ragu untuk masuk ke jurusan pendidikan bahasa Inggris gitu?
Um, I think it's like just make sure that you do your research. Like anything like I think with even if like you enroll in a very popular sort of program like outside of like say like it's something that's like I don't know, IT is quite popular these days, even though like you try to like enroll to like any popular programs, but if you don't do your research, then it's going to be difficult for you to pursue anything from there. Make sure you do your research, make sure you understand like where do you want to go from there, and then like the skill sets that you need and like that you can get as well from like attending the courses. It's important that you also try to understand your motivation as well. Because it's gonna be like 4 years, like 4 years of like not having the right motivation would be pretty difficult. So it's important that like you also look into yourself, like, oh, why do I want to be in this program? So yeah, do your research, understand what you want to do, and then if like if you feel that this is what you want to do, and then you've done enough research and you have the opportunity to join, I don't see this as like a like a bad thing. Yeah, misalnya people have like this idea of like, oh, what are you gonna be? What do you want to do? Like just teach. I live in Vietnam right now, so like I currently live in Vietnam, and then like so many people would like so many backpackers would come here and be like, I'm just gonna be a teacher, and then they make banks. Like they just like stay here and they live like comfortably. So like I don't understand when people think like back home thinking like, oh, what are you gonna do? Like be a teacher? Like you should come here and see like how those English teachers survive. They live comfortably here. So like yeah, if you're doubting that decision of like being a teacher, maybe you should do your own research, and yeah, you'll probably find like evidence that would help you to kind of encourage yourself to join the department you want to join. So yeah.
Iya, bener banget sih ya. Jadi kalau misalkan kalian masuk ke PBI itu bukan tujuan akhirnya cuma jadi guru, kok banyak banget yang bisa bidang apa aja yang bisa kalian tekuni kok guys, gitu ya. Contohnya jadi kamera ini mungkin kalian tertarik untuk bekerja di perusahaan internasional gitu ya. Jadi kalian nggak usah ragu-ragu lagi, kalian choose langsung daftar aja ke PBI Unikat Majaya ya. Oke. Dari perbincangan kita ini nggak kerasa nih udah selesai banget. Maksudnya udah selesai omongan kita hari ini ya. Cukup sangat memotivasi aku banget nih, kan aku sebagai mahasiswa baru gitu ya. Aku semoga dari omongan kita berdua ini Kak pada hari ini tuh bisa benar-benar nyemangatin aku banget untuk kedepannya lagi, untuk lebih semangat lagi berkuliah dan dengan tujuan akhir aku gitu. Semoga aku bisa jadi sukses seperti kakak gitu ya. Oke, thank you banget nih Kak buat waktu dan kesempatannya udah bisa bergabung dalam PBI in 60 Minutes ini. Semoga kakak sehat selalu, semoga sukses terus ya Kak. Terima kasih juga kepada viewers hari ini yang sudah menyempatkan waktu untuk menonton juga acara live PBI in 60 Minutes You Can Be Anything ini. Gimana guys? setelah dengar-dengar gitu, apakah kalian tertarik dengan PBI? Ayo guys, kuliah ya di jurusan Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris Unikat Majaya ya, tanpa beragu-ragu lagi. Oke, kalau gitu aku Jessica Grace pamit dulu, dan Kak Myriam thank you juga udah mau nyempetin waktunya. Sekali lagi terima kasih. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.